مملع العي عتربه.
I watched my mother scrub floors at midnight while billionaires stepped over her like she was invisible, and I promised myself I'd make them see us one day. My name is Riley, and I'm 23 years old. I work at the Golden Terrace, one of those fancy restaurants in downtown Los Angeles where a single plate of food costs more than my weekly rent. The kind of place where rich people come to be seen, not to eat, where they wear watches that could pay for someone's college education and complain that their water isn't cold enough. I've been working there for 2 years, saving every penny I can. My mom raised me alone after my dad left when I was 5. She worked 3 jobs to keep me fed and in school. She cleaned offices at night, worked at a laundromat during the day, and sold homemade pies on weekends. I watched her hands crack and bleed from all the chemicals and work. I watched her fall asleep standing up. I watched her sacrifice everything so I could have a chance. Now she's sick. The doctors say her kidneys are failing from years of stress and exhaustion. The treatments cost more money than I've ever seen in my life. Insurance covers some, but not enough. Never enough. So I work double shifts at the Golden Terrace, smile at rude customers, and swallow my pride every single day. The restaurant sits on the top floor of a glass building that touches the sky. Floor-to-ceiling windows show the city sparkling below like scattered diamonds. Crystal chandeliers hang from the ceiling, throwing rainbow light across white tablecloths. Everything is polished and perfect and cold. Most of the staff are like me, people working hard to survive. Maria, who busses tables, sends money back to her family in another country. David, who works the bar, is putting himself through law school. We're all tired. We're all struggling. But we show up and we smile and we serve people who will never know our names. Before we go any further, I want to know something. Where are you watching this from right now, and what time is it where you are? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if this story is already hitting you in the chest, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Trust me, you're going to want to see where this goes. It was a Friday night, and the restaurant was packed. The smell of expensive perfume mixed with grilled steak and fresh flowers. Laughter and conversation filled the air, the sound of people who never worried about money or tomorrow. I was assigned to the private section, an area separated by silk curtains where the richest customers sat. My manager, Steve, pulled me aside before my shift started. He's a short man with thin hair and a permanent frown, the kind of person who forgot how to be kind somewhere along the way. "Listen carefully," he said, his breath smelling like coffee and cigarettes. "We have a very important guest tonight, a billionaire from overseas. He's spending serious money, so you need to be perfect. No mistakes. Smile, be polite, and don't speak unless spoken to. Understand?" I nodded. I'd heard this speech before. Rich people always got special treatment. "And Riley," he added, his eyes narrow, "I know things are hard with your mom, but I can't have you looking tired or sad. These people don't want to see that. They want happy, bubbly service. Can you do that?" Something hot flashed in my chest, but I swallowed it down. "Yes, sir." "Good, table 12, don't mess this up." I walked through the silk curtains into the private section. Table 12 sat by the biggest window, offering a view of the city that made you feel like a god looking down at the world. 3 men sat there, all wearing suits that probably cost more than my car. But one man stood out. He was maybe 40 years old, with dark hair slicked back and a face that would have been handsome if not for the cruelty in his eyes. He wore a watch covered in diamonds that caught the light every time he moved. His suit was custom-made, fitting him perfectly. He leaned back in his chair like he owned the building, owned the city, owned everything. His 2 companions were younger, probably business partners or assistants. They laughed at everything he said, nodding like puppets. I approached the table with my notepad and my best smile. "Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the Golden Terrace. My name is Riley, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you off with something to drink?" The billionaire looked at me the way you might look at a stain on your shirt. His eyes traveled from my face down to my uniform and back up again. Then he turned to his companions and said something in Arabic. They all laughed. I kept my smile frozen on my face. I didn't speak Arabic, but I knew the sound of mockery when I heard it. My cheeks burned, but I stood there waiting. He waved his hand at me like I was a fly. Water, and make sure it's cold this time. Last restaurant couldn't even get that right. Of course, sir, still or sparkling. He said something else in Arabic to his friends. More laughter. One of them nearly choked on his own spit from laughing so hard. Just bring the water, he snapped at me in English. I walked away, my hands shaking slightly. In the kitchen, I filled 3 glasses with ice water, making sure they were perfect. David saw my face and came over. You okay? He asked. Yeah, just another rich jerk who thinks he's better than everyone. Table 12. How'd you know? Steve's been kissing up to that guy all week. Apparently he owns half the oil in the Middle East or something, worth like $10 billion. $10 billion? I couldn't even imagine that much money. My mom needed $70,000 for her treatment. To him, that was like a penny on the sidewalk, not even worth bending down to pick up. I brought the water back to table 12. The billionaire was on his phone, speaking rapidly in Arabic. I set the glasses down carefully, making sure not to make any noise. Without looking up, he took a sip of water and immediately spit it back into the glass. This is disgusting. Are you trying to poison me? I blinked. Sir, I'm sorry. Is something wrong with the water? It tastes like metal, like rust. Is this what you serve in America? No wonder your country is falling apart. His friends laughed again, watching me like I was a show put on for their entertainment. I'll get you a new glass right away, sir. I returned to the kitchen, confused. The water was from the same filter we used for everyone. There was nothing wrong with it, but I poured new glasses anyway, this time from a different tap. When I brought them back, he didn't even try them. He just waved his hand. We're ready to order. I want the steak rare, very rare, almost raw. If it's even slightly overcooked, I'm sending it back. And I want it with the truffle sauce, but only if the truffles are fresh. None of that preserved garbage. I wrote everything down. His friends ordered similar meals, copying him like children. And tell the chef, the billionaire added, that if he disappoints me, I'll make sure everyone knows this restaurant serves garbage. I have friends at every food magazine in this city. Yes, sir, I'll let him know. As I turned to leave, he said something in Arabic again. This time I caught one word, Abda, slave. He called me a slave. His friends erupted in laughter, slapping the table. One of them had tears running down his face from laughing so hard. Something inside me cracked. 2 years of swallowing my pride. 2 years of smiling at people who treated me like dirt. 2 years of watching my mother suffer while people like this threw away money on a single meal. But I couldn't react. I needed this job. Mom needed me to keep this job. I walked to the kitchen and gave the chef the order. He rolled his eyes when I mentioned the billionaire's threats. Let him complain, the chef muttered. I've been cooking for 30 years. I know how to make a steak. While I waited for the food, I served other tables in the regular section. A family celebrating a birthday, a young couple on a date, normal people who said please and thank you, who treated me like a human being. But my mind kept going back to table 12, to that word, Abda, slave. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a text from Mom's nurse. She's asking for you, having a rough night, when can you visit? I typed back quickly, after my shift, around midnight, tell her I love her. The food came up, 3 perfect steaks with truffle sauce, roasted vegetables, and potatoes that smelled like heaven. I loaded them onto a tray and carried them carefully to table 12. I set the plates down in front of each man. The billionaire cut into his steak immediately, not even waiting for his friends. He chewed slowly, his face showing nothing. Then he spit the food onto his plate. This is trash, he announced loudly. Several nearby tables turned to look. Absolute trash. This cow probably died of old age. The truffle sauce tastes like dirt. and these vegetables are soggy. Is this really the best restaurant in Los Angeles? I've had better food from street vendors. My heart pounded. Sir, I'm so sorry. I can have the chef prepare something else for you. The chef, he laughed, cold and sharp. The chef is clearly incompetent. Everyone who works here is incompetent. Look at this place. Pretending to be fancy, but it's all fake. Just like everything in America. Fake and cheap. He turned to his friends and launched into a long speech in Arabic. I stood there, frozen, while he gestured at me and the food and the restaurant. His friends nodded along, occasionally adding their own comments. I caught more words this time. My grandmother was from Egypt, and though she'd died when I was young, she'd taught me some Arabic. I was rusty, but I understood enough. He was saying that Americans were lazy, that we thought we were special, but we were really just servants to the rest of the world. That people like me, black people specifically, were only good for serving and cleaning, that we should be grateful people like him even allowed us to serve them. My hands clenched into fists at my sides. Breathe, Riley, just breathe. One of his friends said something that made them all laugh harder. He said I probably didn't even finish high school, that I probably had 5 kids from 5 different fathers, that I'd probably steal the silverware if they didn't watch me. Every racist stereotype, every cruel assumption, spoken in Arabic because they thought I was too stupid to understand. The billionaire took out his wallet and pulled out a $100 bill. He held it up, waving it at me. In Arabic, he said to his friends, "Watch this. I'll make the slave dance for money. They always do. They can't help themselves." Then he switched to English. "Here, a tip. But first, I want you to admit that this restaurant is terrible and that you're lucky to have a job at all. Say it, and the money is yours." The entire private section had gone quiet. Other servers had stopped to watch. Even some customers were staring. $100, that would buy Mom's medication for almost a week. It would mean I wouldn't have to skip meals to make rent. It would help. All I had to do was humiliate myself. Again. The billionaire smirked, certain I would do it, certain I had no choice. In his world, everyone had a price, everyone could be bought. I looked at that $100 bill, then I looked at his face, so confident and cruel. And I thought about my mother, not about the money she needed, but about what she'd taught me. She'd told me that our dignity was the one thing no one could take from us unless we gave it away. She'd told me to stand tall, no matter what. I opened my mouth, and I spoke in perfect Arabic. "You think money makes you better than me?" The words came out clear and strong. "You sit here in your expensive suit, wearing your diamond watch, and you think that makes you a man? You're not a man. You're a coward who has to put others down to feel big." The billionaire's face went white. The $100 bill slipped from his fingers and fell to the floor. I kept going, every word of Arabic flowing easier now. "You call me a slave, but who's really trapped? I work hard for my money. I earn every dollar. But you were born rich, and you'll die rich, and you'll never know what it means to actually accomplish something on your own. You'll never know what it means to sacrifice for someone you love. You're empty inside, and all the money in the world can't fill that hole." His friends had stopped laughing. They stared at me with their mouths open. "You want to know what's lazy?" I continued. "It's thinking you can buy respect. It's thinking people should bow to you because of your bank account. Real respect is earned through character, through kindness, through treating people with dignity. You have none of those things. You're just a rich man who will be forgotten the moment you die because you never made anyone's life better. You only made people feel small." I switched back to English. "And for your information, I have a college degree. I graduated with honors. I speak 3 languages. I work 2 jobs to pay for my mother's medical treatment because she spent her whole life taking care of me. So yes, I'm a waitress, but I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of every single thing I've done to survive." The restaurant was dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. The billionaire's face had gone from white to red. He stood up so fast his chair fell backward. For a moment, I thought he might hit me. His hands were shaking, his chest heaving. Then something changed. His eyes got wet, his mouth trembled. He looked at me for a long moment, really looked at me. like he was seeing me for the first time. And then he dropped to his knees. Right there in the middle of the golden terrace, this billionaire in his custom suit and diamond watch fell to his knees in front of me. Tears ran down his face. "I'm sorry," he whispered in Arabic. "I'm so sorry." I stood there completely shocked. This wasn't what I expected. He kept talking, the words pouring out of him. "You're right about all of it. I'm empty. I'm miserable. I treat people terribly because I hate myself. My father was cruel to me, and I became cruel to everyone else. I have everything, but I have nothing. I haven't spoken to my own children in years because I was too busy making money. My wife left me because I cared more about business deals than our marriage. I'm surrounded by people every day, but I'm completely alone." His friends tried to help him up, but he pushed them away. "I came to this country running away from my own life," he continued, "thinking I could feel powerful again by making others feel small. But you with nothing, you're richer than I'll ever be. You have love, you have purpose, you have dignity. What do I have? Just money, just things that will turn to dust." He looked up at me, his face broken. "Your mother is lucky to have you. My children won't even come to my funeral when I die. That's what my money bought me, loneliness." I didn't know what to say. Part of me was still angry. Part of me wanted to walk away and let him suffer. But another part of me, the part that sounded like my mother, felt something different. Pity, maybe, or just sadness for how broken people can become. "You can change," I said quietly. "It's not too late. Call your children, tell them you're sorry, try to be better." He nodded, tears still falling. I will try." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a checkbook. His hands shook as he wrote. When he finished, he tore out the check and held it up to me. I took it, expecting maybe a few $100, an apology tip. The check was for $500,000. My vision went blurry. I couldn't breathe. 500,000, more than enough for Mom's treatment, enough to pay off our debts, enough to change our entire lives. "Please," he said, "take it, use it for your mother, and forgive me. I know I don't deserve it, but please, let me do this one good thing." "I can't accept this," I stammered. "It's too much." "It's not enough," he said. "It will never be enough to make up for how I've treated people, but it's a start. Please, let me help." Steve, my manager, had appeared at some point. He looked at the check in my hands, and his eyes nearly fell out of his head. The billionaire stood up slowly. He looked at Steve. "This woman is the finest person in your restaurant. Treat her accordingly, or you'll answer to me." Then he looked at his friends. "We're leaving. I've lost my appetite for expensive food. Let's go find a soup kitchen or something, somewhere we can actually help people." They left without another word. The curtains swayed behind them. I stood there holding the check, shaking all over. The other customers started clapping, slowly at first, then louder. The applause filled the restaurant, echoing off the crystal chandeliers. Steve put his hand on my shoulder. "Take the rest of the night off," he said quietly. "Go see your mother." I didn't argue. I grabbed my things and ran out of that restaurant faster than I'd ever moved. I drove to the hospital with tears streaming down my face, the check pressed against my chest. Mom was awake when I got there, sitting up in her hospital bed. She looked so small and tired, tubes running from her arms, but she smiled when she saw me. "Baby girl," she said, "you didn't have to come so late." I sat on her bed and took her hand. "Mom, something happened tonight," and I told her everything. The billionaire, the insults, what I said, what he did, the check. She cried. We both cried, holding each other in that small hospital room. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. "Not because of the money, because you stood up, because you remembered who you are. That's worth more than anything." The check cleared. It was real. I paid for Mom's treatment in full. The doctors scheduled her for surgery the next week. For the first time in years, we could breathe. But something else happened too. Someone in the restaurant had recorded the whole thing on their phone. By the next morning, the video was everywhere. Millions of views, hundreds of thousands of shares. People called me brave. They called me inspirational. They said I'd spoken up for everyone who'd ever been disrespected at work, everyone who'd ever been looked down on, everyone who'd ever been underestimated. News channels wanted interviews. Magazines wanted my story. It was overwhelming and strange and wonderful. The billionaire kept his word too. I saw articles about him a few weeks later. He donated $50 million to various charities. He'd reunited with his daughter. He was in therapy, working on himself. He sent me a letter, handwritten. In it, he thanked me for being the wake-up call he needed. He said I'd saved his life by showing him how empty it had become. I framed that letter and hung it in Mom's hospital room while she recovered. 3 months later, Mom came home. The surgery was successful. She was weak and tired, but she was alive. She was going to make it. I still work at the Golden Terrace, but things are different now. Steve treats everyone better. Customers are more respectful. And I'm going back to school to finish my master's degree in languages, something I'd always dreamed of but couldn't afford. The money changed our lives, yes, but what really changed was something deeper. I learned that our worth isn't determined by how others see us. It's determined by how we see ourselves, by what we stand for, by whether we bend or break when tested. I think about that night a lot, about how close I came to just taking the humiliation, taking the $100 and moving on, about how one moment of courage changed everything. And I think about the billionaire on his knees, broken open by truth. Turns out that money can't buy the things that matter. It can't buy dignity. It can't buy genuine connection. It can't buy peace. But speaking your truth, standing tall, refusing to let anyone make you small. That's free, and that's powerful, and that's something no one can ever take from you. My mom is in the kitchen now, making her famous pies again. She's humming while she works, something she hasn't done in years. The smell fills our apartment, warm and sweet. I'm sitting at the table, studying for my classes. Sometimes I still can't believe how much has changed. How one moment, one decision to speak up, altered the entire course of our lives. There's a knock at the door. When I open it, there's a delivery person holding a huge bouquet of flowers. The card reads, "Thank you for the lesson. May you and your mother have beautiful lives. You deserve everything good." It's not signed, but I know who it's from. I put the flowers in a vase and set them on the table where Mom can see them. She looks at them and smiles, that same smile that got us through all the hard years. "You know what I've learned," she says. "Sometimes the people who have everything need help from the people who have nothing, not money help, soul help." She's right, we didn't just receive a blessing that night, we gave one too. And that's worth more than all the diamonds in the world. If this story touched you, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button right now. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's working hard and feeling invisible, someone who's tired of being disrespected, someone who needs to remember their own worth. Drop a comment and tell me what you took away from this story. And remember, you are not defined by your job, your bank account, or how others treat you. You are defined by your character, your courage, and your heart. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever let anyone make you forget that. Stay strong, stay proud, and I'll see you in the next story. Moral lessons from this story. 1. Your dignity and self-worth are not for sale at any price, and protecting them is more valuable than temporary financial gain. 2. Speaking truth to power, even when it's scary, can create change not just for yourself, but for others who witness your courage. 3. The way people treat others when they think no one important is watching reveals their true character. 4. Real wealth is measured in love, purpose, and genuine human connections, not in money or material possessions. 5. Sometimes the people who seem most powerful are actually the most broken inside, and cruelty often comes from deep personal pain. 6. You never know who understands what you're saying, so speak with kindness always, because your words reveal who you really are. 7. Redemption and change are possible for anyone willing to face their own emptiness and choose to become better. 8. The sacrifices made by those who love us are the greatest gifts we ever receive, and honoring that sacrifice gives our struggles meaning. 9. One moment of courage can alter the entire trajectory of your life in ways you cannot predict. 10. Standing up for yourself teaches others that they can stand up for themselves too, creating ripples of empowerment that spread far beyond the original act.